What does my head in right is that the Australian media prides themselves on being smart enough to know when they're being used to send a message, right? So they'd be sceptical about a company that turns around and says, hey, research has shown that our product is the best one to buy. They would be sceptical about a political party saying, this polling is really good for us. But no scepticism whatsoever, and essentially the ultimate puff done on this sort of stuff, this attempt to get below the radar, to make it seem like it's an appeal to people, to normal people, and again, plenty of people being played by all of this, and they're being played by Beijing.
Oh, totally. You're on the money here, and the mind boggles when you think that the media, the Channel 9 media, must really think we're a bunch of idiots.
Correct.
In terms of what they're up to at the moment. Like, there's two words that should be on everyone's tongue at the moment, and that is Hong Kong. Look at what is happening to Hong Kong. In fact, us talking about China and criticising China tonight means, under those laws that were passed last week in China, if we go to Hong Kong and do Paul Murray Live from somewhere in Hong Kong or the floating markets, all four of us could end up in the clinker, not in Hong Kong, but somewhere in China. So this is a real worry. And Jim's on the money. We've got to stand up for our values. We can't kowtow to China. We trade with them, but if once we weaken, they'll stomp all over us.
I just found it breathtaking what was being said on television, but again, how unremarkable all of this stuff is when it's said, and most of the media types just don't even look up. I looked up and I went, hang on, what? Senator McGrath?
Yeah, sorry. What we're seeing here, Joel's just the latest exhibit. It started with Sam Dastyari, so Joel's not like an outlier. The Labor Party have been captured by this pro-China faction. I sort of want to know what planet these people are on. The Parliament of Australia in February last year, according to news reports, came under cyber attack from a state-based actor in China, we're told.
Correct.
The Prime Minister of this country, a couple of weeks ago, did a press conference talking about the attacks, the cyber attacks taking place on Australia. Now, they're not coming from New Zealand, they're not coming from Fiji or the Solomon Islands. They're coming clearly from a large landmass, a country with a population around 1 billion people, to the north west of us. I mean, the Labor Party have got to wake up and smell the Chinese takeaway. We are facing a serious problem here, and stop acting as some sort of second-rate defence agents for the actions of a communist dictatorship. Stand up for Australia.
But if I could give them advice, bring back Bill Short. James, what do you reckon?
Well, James,
look, I'm chairman of I'm chairman of the Bill Shorten Appreciation Society. So I say bring him back now. Come on, Bill, we're missing you.
But look, it's this thing. Look, again, right? Okay, in 2 years' time, you're going for a fourth term. In 2 years' time, I don't know what's going to happen, right? What scandals, what arrogance, what service delivery, whatever can happen, right? That changes the world. But I think that not enough people are going to talk about this, James, and it is, again, if we can somehow find those graphics again, just that essential poll, the support amongst Labor voters for Albo as the leader, when we essentially had presidential politics. One of the many gifts that Scott Morrison was able to do for 5 weeks during that campaign was to make it as presidential as possible, shift the conversation as much as possible, but also, as we saw, I think, again, in this electorate, in the particular sort of confrontational bushfire booth there, that normal people are, I think, just as nervous about coming out and saying that they're going to vote against woke than they were 12 months ago, and I think there's going to be more of them 2 years from now, because again, right, have a look at that number. Only 45% of Labor voters are excited about Albo as the Prime Minister. Now, I get it. There's an incumbency issue. He's probably a little bit hot at the moment, but we'll see what happens. What do you think? James?
I think Albo hasn't had a good weekend. That by-election, the key figure is the 2% drop in Labor's primary vote, and also you look at the figures that are on the screen there in terms of Labor supporters. They're not excited about Albo because guess what? He's not I don't want to say mainstream Australia, but he's not centre Australia.
No.
He's left-wing Australia. This guy is a creature of Sussex Street in Sydney. He is a creature of Labor Party headquarters. He was Assistant Secretary. He is as left-wing as they come. He's as left-wing as a cup of soy latte. And you can't disguise that. No matter amount of cappuccinos and things that you want to bring into the world are not going to disguise the fact he is so left-wing. And Labor voters get that. They know that. He's not going to appeal to the mob up in Billawheeler or Gladstone when he needs to try and win Emerald back. He's not going to get that cut through. And that's what the weekend showed. A primary vote drop of 2 points. That is bad for Labor.
Well,
so bad for Labor. They should have smashed that by-election in.
James, 21,597 people, 97 rather, were tested yesterday, of which 67 were positive. That's 0.3 of all of the people that were tested yesterday, all right? Of the 543 active cases, just 4% are currently those in hospital, all right? So I think the actual, are you going to get crook or not, is being dealt with so aggressively, but the non-compliance really is an issue here, because if it's a bunch of people just putting the middle finger up, well then, okay, probably going to have to change a rule to make them do it. But if it's, you know, a whole bunch of conspiracy theories or something else, then we don't change the law. Those people are just lunatics. What do you think?
Yeah, look, it's getting that challenge here between, you know, I'm part of the freedom faction of my party, where I really don't like the government telling me what I can and cannot do. But when you're in a pretty serious health pandemic, and you've got people refusing to take the test, especially in Victoria, you start to go, hang on here. Why are you refusing to do it? But also, what's the government doing? And the real story out of Victoria, yes, we're talking about you know, testing. The real story out of Victoria is, hang on, they've just basically done what China's done.
Correct.
They've just locked people in these buildings. I can't believe people aren't more angry about this. You've got thousands of people have been locked in high-rises. We went crazy when this was when this was happening in China. It's happening in Melbourne. Everyone's going, oh, yeah, well, I suppose it's happened.
But again, we haven't. But again,
has got to be held to account.
I agree, but also this was the thing. And with us a whole lot longer than that. But what's your thoughts on Matthias Cormann saying he's done at the end of the year?
Oh, I'm actually sad, but his family should be happy. We're sad. He's decent, he's strong, he's honest. But 6 months, we've got 6 months work out of him. He's not going to have a day off between now and Christmas. We've got to make sure we get a value for money out of him. So, you know, he is such a rock star. So he can have Christmas Day off.
Yeah, all right. Sorry, Hayley. Sorry, kids.